Are you wondering why your breakthrough feels so close yet so far? Like you're standing on the edge of a promise but can't quite step into it? God will test you before He blesses you, and that's a shocking truth you need to grasp. Because right now, you might be in the middle of a divine test, and how you respond will determine whether you step into the abundant life He has for you or stay stuck in the wilderness, longing for what could have been. First, let's get this straight. God tests you to refine your faith because James 1 verse 3 says the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and you might be praying for that big blessing. A new job, a healed relationship, a financial miracle. But God is more interested in your character than your comfort, so He'll put you through the fire to burn away the impurities like impatience, pride, or self-reliance that would keep you from stewarding the blessing well. Think about Abraham. God promised him a son, but then asked him to sacrifice Isaac, Genesis 22 verse 2. Testing his trust, and if Abraham had failed, he would have missed the fullness of God's plan. So when you're facing delays, when the job offer doesn't come, when the healing feels distant, don't curse the wait. It's God's way of preparing you, because a blessing without character is a curse in disguise. The second insight hits harder. God tests you to reveal what's in your heart, because Deuteronomy 8 verse 2 says He led the Israelites through the desert to humble and test them, to know what was in their hearts, and right now, you might be facing a situation that's exposing your hidden idols, like when you're tempted to take shortcuts, to compromise your values for that promotion, or to lash out in anger when things don't go your way. God is watching not to condemn you, but to show you what's holding you back, because He can't pour His best into a heart that's still clinging to the world. Maybe you're secretly more attached to your reputation than to His will, or maybe you're trusting in your own plans instead of His timing. Whatever it is, the test is your mirror, and if you don't confront what's reflected, you'll keep circling the same mountain, wondering why the blessing hasn't come. Here's the third truth that might sting. God tests your obedience because 1 Samuel 15 verse 22 says to obey is better than sacrifice. And you might think you're ready for the blessing, but God is asking, will you follow me even when it doesn't make sense? Look at Joseph, sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned, Genesis 39 verse 20. Yet he stayed faithful, and it was through those tests that God elevated him to the palace, because obedience in the pit positions you for the palace. But if you're resisting God's commands, if you're holding on to that relationship He told you to let go of, if you're ignoring that nudge to forgive, you're delaying your own breakthrough, because God won't bless what you won't surrender. The fourth insight is a hidden gem. God tests your endurance, because Romans 5 verses 3 to 4 says suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, and character produces hope. And you might be in a season where everything feels heavy, where the prayers aren't answered, where the doors keep closing, but God is building in you a resilience that will carry you through the weight of the blessing He's preparing, because a big blessing requires a big capacity, and if you can't handle the test, you won't handle the triumph. Think of David, anointed as king but chased by Saul for years, 1 Samuel 24 verse 1. Running for his life, hiding in caves, yet he didn't give up, and that endurance prepared him to lead a nation. So when you feel like quitting, when the test feels too hard, know that God is stretching you, not to break you, but to make you strong enough to carry what's coming. The final warning is sobering. God tests your trust, because Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 says to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And right now, you might be facing a situation that doesn't make sense, where God's plan feels like a detour, where you're tempted to take control, but if you don't trust Him in the test, you'll miss the blessing, because God can't lead you where you won't follow. Look at the Israelites. They saw God part the Red Sea, yet they grumbled in the wilderness, failing the test of trust, Exodus 16 verse 4. And it cost them 40 years of wandering. So when God strips away your security, when He asks you to step out in faith, when He says wait instead of go, don't fight Him. Trust Him, because He's already promised in Jeremiah 29 verse 11 that His plans are for your good, to give you a hope and a future, and the test is your doorway to that future, not your dead end. So, here's the challenge. Embrace the test, let it refine you, let it reveal what's in your heart, obey even when it's hard, endure even when it hurts, and trust even when you can't see, because on the other side of this test is a blessing bigger than you can imagine. A life of purpose and joy that God has been preparing you for all along. Pass the test and step into the promise.